Hello, I'm Isaac Atima, a revivalist and a business coach. I'm glad about what I'm sharing with you today. I'm talking about marketing, and I've been speaking about marketing mix. And this is just the general concept of all the ingredients, how to make use of all the ingredients in marketing, right? Identifying them and seeing how to combine them, like when you're cooking, like finding your recipe. Okay, so initially you would start with other people's recipe, you identify the recipes, and eventually you would now find out your own recipe and probably even create your own ingredients. So that's the entire concept of marketing mix. Okay, and we identified about four of those ingredients, right? There are more than four in some categories, but primarily there are four. The first is product, the second is price, the third is promotions, that has to do with advertisement. Fourth is place. Okay, so I'll be starting with product today. I'll be talking about product. Other videos would analyze other parts of the mix. Okay, so today I'm talking about products. So a few questions you want to ask about your product. Now your product could either be a good or a service. Okay, so the first question is, what does the customer want from this product or service? What does the customer want? So you really need to be very clear. What does the customer want? So imagine I'm into education, maybe I have a school, a secondary school. What does my customer want? Like I say, in the educational space, your real client is not the child, is not the student. Your real client is their parents, because it's their parents that actually pay. So sometimes we do a lot of marketing to the kids, whereas we have to market to the parent. Although some other times it actually works in that way of marketing to the kids, because the kids, once they see it, they're easier to convince, and then they go on to disturb their parents. So it works in both ways, but you should really know that eventually, until it gets to the parents, you have not really gotten to like your real client and your real customer. Okay, so what does the client really want? Okay, if I'm bringing my child to a school, definitely I want good education, and of course I could want other things. I want security, I want good association, I want them to be well taken care of, I don't want them to be intimidated, I want good morals, I want the child to be healthy, to be sound, to be loved, and the best to come out of the child too. So you need to be clear on what does your customer really want from your product or service. The customer doesn't want your fine face, even though that can give you an edge. There is what your customer really wants, and you should be very clear on that. Number two is, what needs does your product satisfy in the customer? Now these questions could be a little bit similar, but they are quite different. So what needs does your product satisfy in the customer? So like as an education, okay, it satisfies the needs of education, of enlightenment, right? And many other needs. Maybe I have an advantage of morality in my own school. Okay, so it satisfies that. So that is what it satisfies. Next is, what features does your product have to satisfy these needs? What features? So like a school now, okay, maybe we have a math lab, we have a computer lab, maybe we have a chemistry lab, whatever. Probably we have excursions, probably we have a library. Those are all features that help to satisfy these needs. Okay, there's a hostel, there's a dormitory, right? So it helps to take care of the kids, they have a safe haven to stay and all of that. So what features are in your product or your service that satisfy these needs? Next, you need to ask yourself, are you including costly features that the customer wouldn't need? You really need to ask yourself those questions. So how and where will the customer use these features? How does these features look like? When will the customer need it? Right? Ask yourself the questions around the features. Okay. Next question is, what sizes or colors should the product be? What sizes do you have? Do you have varying sizes? And what are those sizes? Do you have varying colors? And what are those colors? Okay. Next question is, how is it branded? You want to know how it's branded. So what's the experience with that product? What's the color? What's the shape? How does it come? How does your service come? What are the maybe the mottos and all of those, the slogans and all of that? So what how is your product branded, that whenever we come in contact with it, we can perceive that this is from you? Then the next question that is very important is, how is it differentiated? For me, I think this maybe like one most important question. Probably I'll give this 50% and other questions, 50% to share. But how is it differentiated? How can you stand out in the market? That's your competitive advantage. So if we bring your school, if you're an educationist, and other people's schools, what is the difference with your school? Be very clear on that. Okay, like one of our dear people, her school is Montessori. So with Montessori kind of teaching, it already differentiates, and we could still go into deeper forms of specificity. So I highlight your differentiating qualities. Okay, it doesn't just have to be one. There can be different things that are your competitive advantage. It can be being digital, having a digital version of whatever. So what is your competitive, what is your differentiating factor? Next is, what is the most it can cost to provide and to still be sold profitably? What is the most it can cost? So you want to know the highest you can be able to sell it for, and you make profit right in it. So these are the questions that you want to ask yourself surrounding your product. I think this is very powerful because it helps us to really understand our product. Many times we have all these ideas, hanging and looking around in our minds, but we have not settled down to really analyze this. So you want to really sit down and analyze this. Pick a pen and paper, probably go over the video again and really give answers, cognitive answers to all these questions, so that you are very clear. You never know the inspiration. When you go through this process, a lot of ideas will come. You understand, you'll be one with your product, and it even becomes easier to sell. Is that okay? Comment on the comment section. I want to hear from you. You see, giving a comment, giving a thumbs up, that's a like, and subscribing to this channel helps the algorithm know that this content is valuable, and it helps drive other people to benefit from what you're benefiting. So give a like, give a drop a comment, right, and also subscribe. Okay, I'll be waiting to hear a testimony from you. God bless you.